The streets of Los Santos never promised anyone a fair deal. From the glitzy high-rises of Vinewood to the trash-strewn alleys of Strawberry, the city was a beast that thrived on ambition and spit out the weak. It was here that Dominic Dom Alvarez began his descent into a life of crime, a choice born not from greed, but from desperation. Dom had always been a guy who played by the rules. For years, he worked as a mechanic at a small shop in East Vinewood. The pay wasn't great, but it was honest. That all changed the day his younger sister was diagnosed with a rare illness. The bills mounted fast, and the insurance company turned its back on him like so many others. One night, as Dom sat in his dimly lit apartment staring at the eviction notice on his counter, his phone buzzed. It was from an old high school friend, Rico, one of those guys who had taken a very different path in life. Rico's text was brief. "Got a job. Quick cash. Call me if we're interested." Against his better judgment, Dom called. Dom found himself at a rundown warehouse in Cypress Flats. The air smelled of oil and rust, and shadows stretched long under flickering fluorescent lights. Rico, clad in a leather jacket with a smirk that could cut glass, greeted him with a slap on the back. "Dom, my man, glad you finally woke up to how this city works," Rico said, handing him a cheap ski mask and a pistol that felt too heavy in Dom's hand. "Wait," Dom stammered, staring at the weapon. "What exactly are we doing here?" Rico laughed, a sound that echoed through the empty warehouse. "Relax, it's a simple job. Jewelry store in Rockford Hills. In and out, no one gets hurt. You want to save your sister, right? This is how you do it." Dom's stomach churned, but Rico's words hit a nerve. The thought of losing his sister outweighed the guilt gnawing at his soul. He nodded, swallowing the lump in his throat. The heist was anything but simple. The store's alarm triggered the moment Rico smashed the glass cases. Dom froze, the sound of sirens growing louder in the distance. Rico shoved a bag of diamonds into his hands. "Run, Dom! Move it!" Rico yelled, already halfway out the door. They bolted down the alley, weaving through dumpsters and chain-link fences. Dom's heart pounded like a jackhammer. The bright blue and red lights of police cruisers painted the walls around them, and the roar of engines closed in. Rico led him to a sleek black getaway car. Dom barely had time to slam the door shut before the car screeched away. "You drive?" Rico asked, tossing a grin his way. Dom nodded, his hands gripping the wheel. "I fix 'em, don't usually steal 'em." "Guess there's a first time for everything," Rico said, reloading his pistol. The chase through Los Santos was chaos incarnate. Dom swerved through traffic, the sound of gunfire and shattering glass echoing in his ears. Rico leaned out of the window, firing back at the cops in pursuit. "This is insane," Dom shouted. "Welcome to the big leagues, Dommy," Rico yelled back, laughing like a man with nothing to lose. As they crossed the bridge into Blaine County, Dom spotted a gap in the guardrail. Without thinking, he veered the car off the road, launching them into the Alamo Sea. The cold water swallowed them whole. Gasping, Dom surfaced, clutching the bag of diamonds. Rico was already swimming toward the shore, shouting something Dom couldn't hear over the sound of his own ragged breaths. That night, sitting by a campfire in the desert, Dom stared at the bag of stolen jewels. His hands still shook from the adrenaline. Rico clapped him on the shoulder. "You did good, Dom. Real good," he said, pulling out a flask. "This is just the beginning." Dom didn't reply. He gazed at the stars, the weight of his actions sinking in. For the first time, he felt alive and utterly lost. The line between survival and corruption blurred as the firelight danced in his eyes. He knew he couldn't go back to the life he once had. Los Santos had claimed another soul, and Dom Alvarez had just taken his first step into the shadows.